Good morning to all of you. Good morning to all of you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now we start the lecture uh, of data communication. So in the last lecture, we have started the topic that is sampling. Okay. So we would be continue the same theorem today, and we have learned that there is a two statements that I have defined in the last lecture that is belongs to the sampling theorem. One statement is related to the transmitter side, another is from the receiver side. And these are the statements are: first one, a band limited signal of finite energy that has no frequency component higher than the W hertz is completely described by specifying the values of signal instant of time separated by the 1 by 2 W seconds. So 1 by 2 W seconds is nothing but the sampling period is this TS. Okay. So when you have to be try to sample out the band limited signals, then you have to be separate out each and every sample with the distance of the 1 upon 2 W seconds, and W is here frequency. Okay. But when you have to come the receiver end, a band limited signal of finite energy that has no frequency component higher than the W hertz is completely recovered from the knowledge of its samples at the rate of twice of W samples per second. So in this way, we can say you can sample the signal maximum of the frequency of the twice of W. That is also the Nyquist criteria. So we have learned this point up to this point, and we know that what is 1 upon 2 W, it is the Nyquist interval, and twice of W is the Nyquist rate. So always we have to be follow the Nyquist rate when we have to be define the sampling theorem, or we have to be sample the signal, analog signal into digital conversion. Now, what the statements I have orated, see the mathematical proof of that. So we can represent that representation with the help of the mathematical signaling also. So in this case, you can say, consider an arbitrary signal GT of finite energy which is specified for all times t. Suppose that we sample the signal GT instantaneously at a uniform rate once every TS second. So in this case, what we have to do? Consider an arbitrary signal GT of finite energy which is specified at all time t. So the GT having the energy finite, but it is represented on all over the time, minus infinity to plus infinity. And suppose that we have to be sample this signal GT instantaneously, and the sampling rate would be uniform, and the samples would be separated from each other by the amount of TS seconds, that is the Nyquist interval. So consequently, we obtain an infinite sequence of samples spaced at TS seconds. Obviously, when we have to be sample the signal that is defined for all the time periods, so each sample would be separated out from each other by the TS seconds, and denoted it by the mathematical representation of this samples are G N TS. N is the number of possible integers, means you can go from minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay, and we refer here TS as a sampling period, and its reciprocal is Fs, that is 1 upon TS is as sampling rate. Okay, so for this reasons, obvious reasons, we can say that this ideal form of sampling is called as the instantaneous sampling. Instantaneous sampling is nothing but an ideal form of sampling. So you can represent this with the help of this diagram. Everyone please note it down, this diagram. So here we can see in this diagram, if you have to be see the first one, we have to be show the analog signal. In this particular diagram, we have to be show the analog signal is there. And when you have to be apply a train of pulses that is having separated from each other by the sampling period t of s ts, then to convert this analog signal into the discrete one or digital one, we have to be sample it on a regular interval, that is each sample is separated from each other by the ts second. Okay, so when you have to do like this, and this signal is spread out throughout the all times from minus infinity to plus infinity, you can see from negative axis to the positive axis. So after this uniform sampling, what happens, you would be got a uniform samples that would be follow the characteristics of the analog signals. You can see the shape and the pattern of the samples would be matching with the uh, analog signals. Okay, so this is called the instantaneously sampled version of analog signal, and the original signal is represented as a GT, and the sample signal is called as a, it is also called a delta signals, actually delta. So that is delta t. It is a G delta t. That is nothing but an instantaneous sample of the analog signal GT. Okay. Now, I hope all of you have drawn this. Okay. Now we have to further go for the proof or mathematical representation of this signal. So you can represent or write the equation of this GT or as well. So it is here mentioned. Let G delta T actually. G delta T denotes the signal obtained by individually weighting of the elements of periodic sequence of delta functions spaced by. So we have done the periodic form. We have got the periodic sequence of delta functions that is spaced by the ts seconds apart from each of the sequences, and then G delta T could be represented mathematically as sigma. The time duration is minus infinity to plus infinity, so n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity, and this sample would be represented as G and Ts. Instead of GT, we have written here G and Ts because this is the representation of sequence. The second figure, whatever the figure we have shown, the 4.1b. Okay, so in that case, G and Ts, delta Tn minus Ts. So delta Tn minus Ts is nothing but it is called the direct delta function that you have already learned in the signal system. That is positions at t is equal to nts. Okay, and we refer G delta T as the ideal sampled signal here. So from the definition of the delta function, we know that G and Ts, delta Tn minus Ts is nothing but it is equivalent to the Gt delta Tn Ts, because delta function is similar. It is a representation of the Gt in infinite time domain. It is a band limited signal Gt, and it is a defined to the all the times. Okay, minus infinity to plus infinity. So we have just extended the Gt to the G and Ts. And this is the ideal sample signal, that is representation of the extended version of the GT when we have performed the sampling on the analog signal G delta T. That is a delta signal, delta function of the analog signal or sample signal. You can. Now we can further elaborate it as G delta T could be also represented as we have seen the relationship of delta function G and Ts is nothing but equivalent to GT. So we have to replace G and Ts with the GT here. That would be coming out from the sigma. Why it is coming out from the summation? Because it is defined only for the band limited part. So it would be extract out from the sigma. Okay, sigma is for the time duration, all time duration from minus infinity to plus infinity. So GT is not gone for that. It is particular band limited period. So that's why it is coming out from the summation sign. But in the case of the G and Ts, you can see it is inside this sigma. Okay. So using the relations of the delta function, G delta T could be equal to GT sigma minus n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity delta Tn minus T. This is direct delta function. So it would be, again you can see GT delta TST. So delta TST is what is ideal sampling function. Okay, that where the samples are separated out from each other by the TS amount of time period. This is the equation number 2. Now Whatever the equation number 2, you can represent with through the mathematical diagrammatic representation. That is here shown. Modulating signal or modulating wave is represented as a GT when it would be merged with, or it would be modulate, or it would be multiply with the carrier wave, that is nothing but delta TS. It is here. So when would be pass through a impulse modulator, then you would be get the instantaneous sample signal, that is G delta T. So now in this case, you can, from this diagram, you can very much clear that the picture that what is the G delta T. It is nothing but the combination of or impulse response of the modulating signal as well as the carrier signal. Okay. Delta TS is a carrier wave that is separated. Each samples are each sequence is separated, or pulse is separated with the amount of TS time second. Okay. Now further rewrite the that is the time domain representation actually. Now we have to go for the frequency domain representation. So when you have to move to the frequency domain representation, you would be found that from the property of the Fourier transform, we have to be enter to the basics of the Fourier transform now that we have already, I think, learned in the signal system. That's why here signal system would be play a very important role. If you have the clear the concept of all the transforms, that is the Fourier transform, Fourier series, then it would be very easy to learn. Otherwise, if you that concept would be not clear, it is very difficult to understand. So it is not the scope of this subject that I would be go through the thorough equations of all the Fourier transform and this, but you have to be correlate the terms that you have already learned in the second year. Now, from the properties of the Fourier transform, we know that multiplication of two time functions, it is equivalent to the convolution of their frequency of Fourier transforms. So whenever GT and delta TS would be multiplied in the time domain, it would be represented in the frequency domain as a convolution of this the two functions of the Fourier transform of these two functions. Okay. So now let GF and G delta F would be denote the Fourier transform of GT and G delta T respectively. So we can modify the equation number 1 in terms of this. G delta F could be represented as Fs sigma m is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity. Now we have came to the frequency domain just by we have used the m variable. So Gf minus mfs. Okay. So here the m could be minus infinity to plus infinity. And here Gf is what? Gf is your Fourier transform of the original signal, modulating wave signal GT, and Fs is the sampling rate. Okay. So in this way, when we have to take this convolution, you have to be get a G delta F, that is a modulated signal. Okay, that is coming out from the impulse response of the modulating signal and the carrier wave. Now you can see in the equation number 3 that where we have defined the G delta F in terms of GF minus Fs. So the process of uniform sampling a continuous time signal of the finite energy results in a periodic spectrum with the frequency equal to the sampling rate. So that is what we have written in the equation that is orated here. That is the when we have to do the uniform sampling of the continuous time signal that is having also the finite energy like GT, you would be get in the frequency spectrum with a frequency equal to the sampling rate, that is Fs. Now G delta F represents the periodic extension. Obviously it is a periodic extension of the original signal because original signal is band limited. So it is a periodic extension that is from minus infinity to plus infinity. So another expression for the Fourier transform of this ideal sampled signal G delta T may be obtained by taking Fourier transform of both sides of the equation, and note that the Fourier transform of delta function, we are talking about equation number 1, Fourier transform of the delta function delta T minus NTS delta T minus NTS. If you remember the delta T is equal to, in that case, sigma n equal to minus infinity plus infinity G NTS into delta T minus NTS. So in that case, delta T n minus T minus NTS is equal to the exponential of the term minus 2 pi n FTS. Okay. So when you have to be, perform the Fourier transform of what? Delta function, direct delta function, it would be converted into the exponential term, that is exponential e to the power minus 2 pi n FTS. Okay. So now we have to be rewrite the equation of G delta F, that is G delta F could be now defined as a Fs sigma n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity G NTS exponential to the power minus 2 pi F n TS. Okay. So this equation number 4 describe what? It is describe the discrete time Fourier transform. Okay. And each time interval would be, each sample would be separated with the help of the TS second. So it is a discrete time Fourier transform. Now, it may be viewed as a complex Fourier series representation of periodic function G delta F with the sequence of the samples what? G and Ts. So defining the coefficient of the expansion, this is, you can represent this frequency domain expression in terms of this diagram, that is a diagram of the samples. So you can see 4.4a, it is a spectrum of strictly band limited signal GT, and 4.4b, it represents the sampled version of this spectrum GT with a sampling period of Ts is equal to 1 upon twice of W. So you can see here the band limited signal GT is having no frequency. It is now the frequency domain representation. In the first figure, we have shown the time domain representation. It is now frequency domain representation. So here you can see the spectrum of this band limited signal GT would be band limited to the no frequency component should be higher than the W. If the frequency component would be goes higher than W, it would be become 0. Okay. So signal would be absent here. Similarly at the other end also. So you can see the Fourier transform GF of the GT has property GF is 0 for F, amplitude of the or value of the F should be not greater than the W. Should be always greater than the W, not less than this. Otherwise, if it is greater than the W, it would be 0. If it is band limited to twice of W actually, minus W to plus W. And when you have to be, this is the band limited signal. Now we have to see the expansion of this band limited signal in the infinite time duration. So after the sampling, so you can see that each samples, or you see the spectrum of the samples would be having the bandwidth of the twice of W. Okay, and that is separated it out from twice of W amount of the frequency. So you can see here, starting from the this position, this is twice of W, then again it is twice of W, then again it is twice of W, and each every having some center frequency like 0. Then obviously frequency, when you have to be convert the time domain, that is minus infinity plus infinity, so it would be come into the frequency domain, that would be again minus infinity plus infinity, so 0 Fs, twice of Fs, then further 3 of Fs, like up to the infinite value. Similarly in the negative side also. So this is the representation of the G delta F. And what is the, you can say the area of this particular is twice of WG naught, this particular case. Or you can say the energy of this particular signal, band limited series, twice of WG naught. Okay. So now, whatever we have represented in the equation number 4, that is shown in here with the diagram 4.4 A and B. Now we can derive from this diagram. Suppose we chosen the sampling period Ts is equal to 1 upon twice of W, then corresponding spectrum of G delta F of the sample signal, as we have seen in the 4.4b, by putting T is S is equal to 1 upon twice of W, equation 4 would be become G delta F sigma n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity G. Instead of nTs, we have written n upon twice of W, because here Ts is nothing but 1 upon twice of W. Exponential to the power minus j pi n f. So there 2 pi n f Ts. Okay. So that 2 Ts has been replaced here. So Ts is replaced by 1 upon twice of W. So 2 would be cancelled out. So it would be exponential to the power s to the power minus j pi n f. This is equation number 5. This is the representation of your sampled spectrum of the sampled version of the signal, that is separated by the 1 upon twice of W of the sampling period. So this equation number 5 is representation of this diagram 4.4b. Okay, this is your equation number 5. So everyone please note it down each and every equation, otherwise it is very difficult to correlate the terms from the past. If you would write it in one page, it is very easy to correlate the terms, when which equation would be converted to which form, and where we have to be substitute the value of the sampling period and how to interpret it. Okay. Now, isolating the term on the right hand side of the equation number 3. Now we have to come to the equation number 3 again. Corresponding to the m is equal to 0, we readily see the Fourier transform of G delta T may also be expressed as G delta F is equal to FSGF plus Fs. M is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity, but M is not equal to 0. Gf minus Ms. In the equation number 3, we have written this much only. Okay, and this term is not present. But when we have to be isolate the term of M is equal to 0, and what happens at the M is equal to 0 from the whatever the diagram we have seen. So you can see that at M is equal to 0, this summation term would be not valid. It would be converted into this term. This is the term when M is equal to 0. So it is M is equal to 0, and rest of the term is for the minus infinity to plus infinity, except M is equal to 0. Okay. So this would be the complete equation. We have just isolate the part, or divide. It would be just represented into two different sections of this particular equation number 3. So why we have to do this? We will see. We have to be correlated with some terms of this sampling theorem. Now we can impose the following two conditions. What are the two conditions? First condition is that we have seen that GF is a band limited signal, GT is a band limited signal, and GF is the Fourier transform of that. So GF would be 0 when F is greater than or equal to W. That we have already seen in the diagram also. And second condition that Fs should be equal to twice of W. Sampling frequency should be equal to twice of W. So when you have to be substitute this, F is greater than equal to 0, then GF is equal to 0. So it would be 0, it would be 0 like this. But when Fs is equal to twice of W, then we have to be just substitute it. So we will be see. When you have to be substitute that, you would find that equation number 5 would be reduced to what happens when F is equal to twice of W. Fs is equal to twice of W. So when Fs is equal to twice of W, you can substitute here twice of W. Okay. So this term would be become 0. So then what happens? In that case, GF would be equal to 1 upon twice of W, G delta F. Okay. And F should be in between minus W to plus W. Okay. Now, substituting the equation number 4 and 6 into into the equation number 6, we can write GF is equal to 1 upon twice of W sigma n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity G n upon twice of W exponential minus J n F upon W. That is equation number 7. Okay. So those who have written the equation number 4, they can easily interpret it. If you have not remember, I'll just go back to that particular equation once again. This is equation number 4. Here we have to just put up the equation number 6. Okay. So you would be get that much of the equation here, or you can say in the equation number 5 actually. Okay. This is in equation number 5. You have to be got this equation number 5 into the 6. Instead of 4, you can write it is 5 into the 6. We would be got this value. Okay. Now this is the equation of the Fourier transform of the band limited signal GT in terms of the conditions that we have sampled it. That is, Fs should be equal to twice of W. Okay, and if Fs is greater than the W, then GF would be equal to 0. So equation 7 would be is a desired formula for frequency domain description of the sampling. So this is the frequency domain representation of the sampling of the band limited signal GT. So this is the equation that we have to be obtained, and for that we have to be gone through the such mathematical analysis. Okay. So I hope all of you have noted down and the concept was now clear. When you have to be read this once again on your whatever you have noted down in the notebook, then you have to be easily correlate the terms, and it is very simple. So this formula reveals that the sample value Gn upon twice of W of the signal Gt are specified for all values of the n from minus infinity to plus infinity. Then the Fourier transform GF of the signal is uniquely determined. It would be uniquely determined because Gt is related to the GF by the inverse Fourier transform. GT, if you want to obtain the GT from GF, then you have to perform the operation of the inverse Fourier transform. So it would be therefore GT is therefore uniquely determined by the samples or sample values Gn upon twice of W for the value of n minus infinity plus infinity. So at the receiver end, we have to be perform the inverse Fourier transform. Okay, so that we have to be cover our actual band limited signal from the sampled value. Okay. So these are the some conclusions you can say that is coming out from that sampling theorem. Now we can see that we can move to the next topic, that is the next to the sampling theorem, that is pulse amplitude modulation and the concept of time division multiplexing. Pulse amplitude modulation and concept of time division multiplexing. So previous section I have taken from the book of Digital Communication, Simon Hacking, and this section I am now taking from the book Digital Communication, that is from the Top Ceiling. That is both book is mentioned on your reference books, Top and Ceiling. Okay, so that both are very good book. You can refer that. Simon Hacking is written by the published by the Wiley, and Top Ceiling is from the TMH. Okay, now we have to be see one of the diagram. Everyone please note it down this diagram because this would become now for the next slides illustration of this particular diagram. And this is the representation of the pulse amplitude modulation. Actually, what is the concept of pulse amplitude modulation and time division multiplexing, TDM? We know that in the telephone communication we use TDM, FDM, kind of the techniques. So here you can see that how the sampling principle may be used to transmit a number of band limited signals of a single communication channel. You can see here in this diagram there is a representation of the communication channel in between, and this is the commutator means transmitter and the commutator means the receiver end, you can say. So where we have to be samples of the signals from M1, M2, M4 up to the n number of the values. Okay, and similarly that would be again commutated at the another end, where we have used the low pass filters to recover the original signals that is already modified, or noise would be added at the communication channel. So this is the basic way. Now we have to be just explain this, how this is going on. So these are some switches are shown here, that is mechanical switches from 1 to 6 at the commutator end, other 6 to 1 in the commutator end is there. So how we have to be sample? If you have to sample the M1, you have to be connect this rotary switch on this particular one number terminal. Then you have to be sample this, then you have to do like this. We have to be sample one by one. So you can see at the transmitting end on the left, the number of the band limited signals are connected to the contact point of the rotary switch, and we assume that signals are similarly band limited. Generally we use a voice signals to sampling, and that is band limited to 3.3 kilohertz. So at the rotary arm of the switch swings around, it samples each signal sequentially. The rotary switch at the receiving end is in synchronism with the switch at the sending end. So this is very much important. This the term is the synchronism. Otherwise, you can't be perform a sampling properly. Okay. So the rotary arm of the switch that would be swinging around, it would be sample each signals sequentially, and this should be synchronized. The commutator and decommutator end should be synchronized. So the two switches make the contact simultaneously at a similar number of contacts, and with each revolution of the switch, one sample is taken of each input signal and presented to the corresponding number of the contact at the receiving end. So when the switch would be rotate and complete one revolution, only one sample would be taken out from the input signal, and that signal would be presented to the another end or the receiving end. So the train of samples, say the terminal 1 in the receiver, pass through the, that I have already told you that there is a filter are nothing but the low pass filters. Okay. One, if you have to be connect the rotary switch to the terminal 1 at the commutator end, so you have to be also connect the switch at the decommutator end to the low pass filter 1, because all filters are dedicated to the each and one terminals at the transmitter end, and the original signal mxt would be appear as a, it would be reconstructed. Xt means it would be the value of 1 to n. Okay. So you can see here, when you have to be revolution of the switch, this switch would be revolves once it would be sample one signal from the input out of this input. So suppose it is at the one number of the one terminal of there, it would be sample the M1T. Okay, and this sample would be now come to the presented to the communication channel, where some noises would be added, and this would be again we have to be recover it. So that, for that purpose, what we have to do, it should be, the switch should be connected to the low pass filter 1 only, not to 2 or 3, because each filter is dedicated to the corresponding samples. So in this way we have to be recover the M1T again. Okay, so this is done by the help of the pulse amplitude modulation. We will see further. So of course FM is the highest frequency. We have considered the FM is the highest frequency. Okay, spectral component present in this case, any of the input signals. So the switch must be at least twice of FM revolution per second. See little bit differences in here. We previously I have used the different author, they have used the W as a signal. Now it is using the FM. Okay, so do not confuse with the W and FM, both are same here. Okay, so according to the change of author, there is a representation is changed, but it is representing the maximum frequency or the highest frequency. So here it is also using the Nyquist criteria twice of FM. Okay, now when the signals to be multiplexed very slowly with the time, so that the sampling rate is correspondingly slow, because it is a mechanical switches, it will be take lots of the time to do this. So when the switching speed required is outside the range of mechanical switches, we can use the electronic switches. So that's the diagram I have to show you, that is based on a mechanical switches that are very slow in nature. You can replace it with the help of the electronic switches if you have to want to increase the switching speed. This is a design aspect actually. So in other event, the switching mechanism corresponding to the switch at the left in the figure 4.5, which samples the signal, is called the commutator, and the switching mechanism which performs the function of the switch at the right hand side, it is called as the decommutator. That already I have told you that. So the commutator samples and combine the samples, while the decommutator separate the samples and belonging to the individual signals, so that these signals may be reconstructed. So this is the just opposite function. Commutator would be sample the signal and combine the samples, and while the decommutator will separate each samples and individuals for the individual signals and generate the or reconstruct the these input signals. So that is you can see from this diagram also, it is very much clear. This commutator would be sample the signals by connecting to each and every terminals, and this samples combined sample would be available to the channel, and then the commutator would be separate out the samples and reconstruct the original signals. Okay. So whatever the hardware is here used for that, there is the waveforms. I have shown that sampling time. This is the time domain. Okay, and this is for the channel 1, channel 2. That is shown that because there is a multiple channel shown in the diagram. Now you can start the filling of the attendance also, because time is very less. Otherwise you will forget. Okay, so now you can see correlate the hardware with this diagram. This diagram is also very much important. Please everyone noted down this diagram. So in the channel 1, when the switch is connected to the terminal 1, this signal would be sampled here, shown here. This is the analog M1T. This is the actual M1T analog signal. This is the M22 second input signal. This is like the multiple input signal has been shown here. And for to performing the sampling, we have to be connect the rotary switch to the terminal 1, rotary switch to the terminal 2, like this here, 1, 2, like that. In every point of time, that samples would be of the TS seconds. Okay, and at the in this way we have to perform the sampling actually. So this is the TS second time period is there, that would be shown here between the distance between the each and every sample. So this is the interlacing of the two baseband signal. Similarly, you can show the multiple samples also, but it will be make the diagram complex. Okay, so this is the interlacing of the two samples. Here, for simplicity, we have considered the case of multiplex of the just two signals M1 and M2. And signal M1T is sampled regularly at a time interval Ts at a time shown in the figure. Sample M2 would be similarly regularly sampled at a regular time interval Ts. Okay, and input waveform of the filter would be given number 1, and for the M2 this is 2. That is, I was told you that. So we observe that the train of pulses corresponding to the samples of each signals that are modulated in only amplitude in accordance with the signal system. So according to the input signals amplitude, it would be sampled the amplitudes only. That's why it is called the pulse amplitude modulation, or abbreviated as a PAM. Okay, and this whole function has been performed in the time domain and keep distinct and separately with the TS time second. That's why it is called a time division multiplexing. This system is called a time division multiplexing, TDM. Okay, so we wind up for today. This is now time is gone. So thank you all of you for attending the lecture. From the next lecture, we would be see the pulse PWM generation by the comparator and pulse position modulation. Okay. So now wind up the lecture today. Thank you all of you. Those who are pending attendance, please fill up fast.